How you guys doing? Welcome back. Today is February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to you. 2022. What a day. It's a day for love. It's a day for sadness. It's a day for the Rams to celebrate, not the Bengals. It happens. But welcome back. My name's Evan. This is, of course, By the Bulls Trading, the only channel that encourages you to take your trading by the Bulls and go full out, non-stop, all gas, no brakes on investing and trading. With that being said, if you've never been here before, welcome, I appreciate you. And secondly, I do have a 25-part class for free for you to check out on my YouTube page. I'm not going to be like, scroll down below and find it. I'm fairly confident if you found me here, you can easily go find me in my class on my actual page. My anniversary of starting this officially with the business and all that, the Evanversary we're calling it, happened this weekend. I'm going to give everyone until Tuesday night, that's tomorrow, to take advantage of my community deal I'm running. It's a one-time offer. I'm not dealing this again. It's 40% off to come try us out, right? Go to the description box down below. 5 morning newsletters, 5 nightly newsletters, the picks early, my open transparent portfolio, all these great things that we do is on sale right now. You're not going to get a better deal until Black Friday, most likely, maybe my birthday in November, with Black Friday being lined up with there as well. And all that kind of good stuff. But go check it out in the description box down below. I encourage it. If you don't want to, that's totally fine as well. When it comes to this channel, we're going to be talking mainly about technical analysis, supports, resistances, trend lines, patterns, EMA lines, volume profile, RSI, stochastic, the vortex indicator. All these great things you may not have heard of will be on the screen currently, so you can check that out and see what our chart looks like. But then also, all the charts we're looking at today will have those things involved. You can learn quite a lot, learn some new things, and go along with me on this great journey for today. Today we have 8 great picks for you. I'm super excited. It is Valentine's Day, so I have to kind of get going in a minute here to really get my food and my dinner going so I can be a good fiance. So with that being said, 8 great picks today. Check out the deal. Check out the course. I love that you're here. Let's get into it. So first is BRN, a great penny stock. It's coming right down to where you want it. Now again, I called it earlier today. It ran up like 9% today. I'm sure most times we see a 9% or 8% runs. You do get some other ones in the same exact time period, but usually it runs a nice big run up. The next day is probably about red or at least lacking. I think right here, 6-7% is a little bit too much risk for me. I would enter here, but 250 where it was earlier, 251, it's a really good deal, just a bit lower. This is a beautiful wedge with plenty of higher lows and lower highs. What it's showing us is that we're going to hopefully break out eventually, make a big move. Like how over here was a nice like wedge down, as you can see perfectly lined up, wedge down, and it broke out there. This is a long-term wedge we're trying to break out of and have a really big move off of. Even if you do get to 250, risking 3 or 4% to make about 15 with no breakout in itself is still a really good value and a really good purchase. I wouldn't buy BRN here. I do want it a bit lower, but overall, I love what I see. Let's check the indicators. What's so cool about this channel, besides me, my cat, no cat cam, I have it back tomorrow, I just forgot my webcam at work, is that we don't use the indicators as our main and only way of determining value. As we go through this, you'll find out that technical analysis is the cake, num num num, and that the indicators is just the icing. Ooh, tasty. What they're going to show you is momentum, trend, volume, and volatility. Those 4 things is what they're going to be showing through indicators. Overall, though, the TA is what matters, and the indicators help us with our planning, our goal setting, all those kinds of great things. So if you've never looked at indicators before or used them to trade with, you'll see live what a veteran sees and goes through it with you. With that being said, let's check it out together. So BRN here, the first thing I'm looking for is a 10, 50, 200 EMA crossover. It just crossed over the 10 today and held. When it does that, you usually have some pretty good days for day trading. It's not the greatest thing of all time, but when you cross the 200 and the 50 officially, that's when you get your best run-ups, over the 200 and the 50. So you could easily wait for that if you want to. My cat goes for the microphone. No. When you cross over those, you should be good to go. But down here, it's just a fine value. I think it's a good value again because RSI's at 49. I mean, you want closer to 30, but again, going sideways, it consolidating, that makes a lot of sense here. Stochastic is low, bulls are low, bears are high. Also, this is your resistance trend here. This is your supporting trend. Email lines are on the middle, again, showing consolidation. BRN here is a much more volatile intraday, maybe hold for 1 or 2 days in most kind of trade. You do want it a bit lower to minimize risk because this does collapse on you. You could be seeing a bag and you don't want to have that in this kind of market. You want to be quick in and out. So BRN here, I like it. I don't love it. A bit lower towards 250, I absolutely love it. But either way, I'd watch list it. I do love what I see. Next is CNP. 1, 2, 3 solid hits here, coming up to 4. Old resistance becoming a support area, and even over here, higher lows across the board. So we have it's holding nicely here. Would I just be rushing in casually into a 5% sell-off? Not really. I do want this a bit lower. And also look at the reversal times near this trend line, right? What we can see is when it gets to the trend line, it takes a few days, right? Get close here, it takes a few days, right? So we're not really rushing in here, but I do want to see it get down about 2660, 2670. Another percent lower, it's absolutely fantastic. Let's say it gets down in this area. Risking 1-2% to make about 4 or 5 is pretty great. Some of y'all are like, oh, I don't want to wait around for 5%. Well, in this kind of market condition, you're going to take what's given to you. And if CMP gives you 5%, you take 5%. It is what it is. So I think with this great channel up here, great resistance becoming a support, great trend up overall. I just love what I see. Let's check our indicators together. A 200 cross is fine. It crosses the 200. You usually have your best run-ups over the 200. See how it's a support over here? Right, as you cross over the 200, you get your best run-ups. It's a support. Waiting for that is fine. A bit lower, the 10's also fine, but not really into that. It's just a fantastic value. How do we know that? Bulls are low, stochastic at the -60. Bulls are low, bears are high. Across the board, it's a fantastic value. I actually did just say short it, and it shorted beautifully, and now we're trying to go long here. But overall, a great trend line, a great support, low risk, medium reward. Overall, for an easy trade with low risk in this kind of market, I would take it. I love what I see. I would definitely watch list it. Next is ES, not dash ES, just ES. We went long in this area. It went well for us. We shorted in this area, and now I want to go long. Look at this nice gap here. Speaking of Valentine's Day, hey, gaps, just like, stocks, like to be filled. It is what it is. And this is a really nice filler gap right here. Again, every time we see big old gaps, we get good fills right here. It gets filled over here eventually. Every single gap on this time frame, this gap over here, eventually gets filled. Every single gap across the board gets filled on this time frame. And we have a brand new one for a target here. Now, some gaps can be your ignition signal that we're going to have a trend direction change, which does happen. Like this one over here said, oh, trend direction, but again, of course, it still got filled. So I think with that in mind, making about 6 or 7% here to risk about 1 is fantastic. Large wedge, very strong support. If it does break down, you're probably looking more towards about $79 or at worst $78. But overall, a really good value. EMA crossovers are way too far away. We have value. We see that because RSI is low, stochastic is low, bulls are low, bears are high. ES is a really good value here if it does hold. Fantastic. Otherwise, there's no point rushing in. It's down like 8-9% in like a few days. It's definitely selling off. That gap I want to hit, but for now, I'd give it a break, let it find some support, but I would definitely watch this. I do love what I see. Next is LADR, LADR. I already took a position in this one around, I think it was around 1134, 1133 today. I'm a little bit green right now. It's a really great ascending triangle. I'm a big old sucker for ascending triangles constantly. It just shows great higher lows at the same exact 1230 range getting pressured. So folks said $9 is fair. Then they said $9.50. Then they said, well, $10.50, now $10.60, and then $11.10, then $11.20, and then $11.30. Folks are buying in higher. A traditionally very strong support here, and of course, earnings just happened, massive overreaction. I mean, it's right where you want it. Sure, I think 1130 is a better value, but risking 1% to make about 8 without a breakout is still fantastic. 8-to-1 setup. Overall, ascending triangles are fantastic. The POC here is gravitational, holding this nearby. Overall, I just love what I see. Let's check our indicators together. A 10 cross is fine. You get a 10 cross, you get some good 3 or 4 or 5% moves, which again, if your worst case is that's fine. You really want a 50 cross, but that's too far away here. Especially a 200 cross, again, it's too far away, but we have value. RSI 39 spends 95% of its time north of this area, which is good. We can see again, we have no real divergence. That's fine. It's just low at -70, and bulls are low, bears are high. Sure, you can wait for a vortex cross, a stochastic cross, whatever you want, EMA cross. But right now for LADR, it's a low risk, high reward kind of setup. I do love what I see. Overall, I'd watch this. It looks fantastic. Next is OXLC. We've played this multiple times. We actually played it a lot for me on this like uptrend over here that eventually broke down. But now we're kind of regaining ourselves some type of trend here. Again, consistent resistance at 835, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, constantly pressuring 835 here. And we can see 760, 761 or so tomorrow, 762. It's a great value. You can probably make about 9-10%, risking about 2. Overall here, it's fantastic. Yes, this trend is far away, but of course I'm going off of this trend over here as well. So it just looks really good. Great higher lows, very consistent. POC is going to be our strongest support, so you want to risk a bit more. If it does dip down, it could be a really good support for you. But overall, a great uptrend, great support. You know, it's pushing higher lows. I love what I see. Let's check our indicators together. Can I wait for a crossover? Yeah, you can. But again, they're so far away. I'd buy into value. Key here, if you see me saying every play is a value purchase, that tells you what the market did today and yesterday. It sold off, right? So OXLC here, technically is at value, just a bit lower. RSI is at 25. We have our stochastic super low, where it always reverses at, and starting to curl north, and bulls are bottoming out, bears are up top. OXLC, 2% lower is an absolute steal. Will we see that? I'm not quite sure. But overall, it's a really good value. It's a great uptrend. I think it's fantastic. Of course, find your own supports, but if it sits here and holds, I think overall, it's a fantastic play to watch and look into. OXLC, I'd watch this. I do love what I see. Next is SCHW, Charles Schwab, well-known company. It just prints and prints at all times, right? It's a really big cap here. Great trend up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 solid hits. I mention that often because, again, any one of you idiots, any one of me idiots, hit myself in the face, can draw a trend line from A to B. But to have Charles Schwab go A, B, C, D, E, F is much more consistent. It's even more consistent when the resistance trend also mirrors it very, very closely, making a nice channel up. Old resistance became a support, and now we're holding here. Again, dividends always need to sell us as folks take their profits and what they want. You can see if it does dip 1 or 2%, you can just get out. Right here, full move is almost 6-1. Overall, Charles Schwab isn't going anywhere. I'm pretty confident in 10 years, if you have any kind of entry in this kind of play, you could goof it up and still be fine. But right here, I wanted a bit lower at 86 and some change. But right here, Charles Schwab is really fantastic. Let's check the indicators. We can see the 200s holding us greatly. You want to wait for tomorrow to make sure you bounce off it. Great. 10 cross, also great. Right? You can play those two crossovers and momentum plays. But overall, RSI is low. Stochastic is low. With a pretty fat divergence, right? That's fat, right? It's there. It's evident, right? And then that's low, but then bulls are low, bears are high. Check the earnings reports. Make sure nothing terrible is happening to Charles Schwab on the horizon. But overall here, SCHW looks really good. Check the financial sector, but it's a huge company. I love what I see. Next is C, a very similar play to Charles Schwab with sealed air here. Old resistance becomes a support. We have it here. Make a nice little baby doji there. Love to see that. You could probably draw some type of resistance trend line here for a breakout, but overall, great trend, great support. It's going up nicely with 1, 2 solid hits. It does match the resistance trend perfectly, so I'm confident in that. But overall here, great higher lows. It's pushing higher. Sure, you may have to risk 1 or 2% to make only about 4 or 5 for a small move. This also has a gap that wants to get filled. And of course, I scroll back here. These gaps get filled. This gap got filled. This gap gets filled. This gap gets filled. You can go back on the time frame here, see almost 9 out of 10 gaps constantly get filled. Gives us a good price target here of about 5 or 6% pretty easily. I do love what I see. Haha, SEE, I do love what I see. Get it? Teehee. Waiting for a 10 cross is fine. It has really good 10 cross potential here for like 4 or 5% run-ups. It does really well. 200 cross also works. Only 8% of the 5 or 6. It's fine. I think we have value though because bulls are low with RSI. We don't really have a great, divergence. It's definitely there if it reverses soon. If this blue, if this blue here crosses that red, that's a sign of a reversal. If that happens, it's a divergence, and then bulls are low, bears are high. SEE, if tomorrow's markets are green, looks really good. That also rhymes. If that crosses the 200 and the 10, I think overall it's a fantastic play. I would definitely watch this. I do love what I see. Last and not least is Signet Jewelers. Absolute tank of a trend line. It is breaking. All right, let's be fair. It is kind of starting to tilt here. Is there a better trend line you can go off of? Yeah, maybe. Like come from these moves over here. I wouldn't put that much emphasis into this one. Maybe this play over here, right? I'm not going to try and hog, swoggle, move it around. It's breaking, but this is a very strong support spot, right? $77 in itself is a very strong support spot. If tomorrow's green, it makes a good move. 10-11% could be had. A red one's 2.5. 4-1 odds here. The uptrend's stronger, more consistent than the downtrend. Maybe it's making a wedge somewhere. I don't know. But it's a really good trend up, really good support. If it does break down, I mean, I wouldn't go short on it, but I think this is a really easy go long play. Great wedge. If it does break out, we're good to go. EMA lines, again, are in the middle of both resistance and supporting trend, showing that we are, in fact, going sideways and consolidating. At 10 cross is fine. You have fine days over the 10. I think the 200 is much better. You get over the 200, great runs. Over the 50, great runs. And again, those are probably too far away to play off of. I'd buy into value. RSI is at 37, that's value. Stochastics where it bottoms out every single time it reverses, that's value. Bulls and bears are kind of confused here, probably because it's getting towards the end of the cycle here. But SIG, it's a great value. It's a great breakout play. I do love what I see. I'd watch this. It looks fantastic. Thanks for being here. I'm usually not this rushed, but again, with Valentine's Day, I kind of have things to do. Someone likes me, shockingly, so I have to kind of go do stuff with that. I actually have friends coming over. So I'll go figure that out and go make some dinner. Gonna have some steak and some scrimps and all kind of good stuff. My hair looks ridiculous today. Again, if you really enjoy this content, make sure to check out the Discord. It's no big deal. Check out the community. I'd love to have you. I mean, it's the best deal you're gonna get all year. With that being said, have a good rest of your guys' day. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Not a Holiday. I do appreciate it. Thanks.